Good morning, practice owners. Welcome back to the Monday Motivator, where we give you bite-sized tips to bring you one step closer to living the elite practice lifestyle that you deserve. With that, let's get to our question and see what advice our expert has to offer us today. Okay, so for vet practices facing continually rising costs of doing business, what ideas do you have for doing more with less?
Another great question, Jill. So I would say that for the more with less topic, there's really two pieces you want to look at. One is managing your team, and the other is managing your expenses. So on the team side, although it is harder and harder to attract team members, when you do finally find someone, it's more expensive to bring them on board. So you want to make sure that you are leveraging team members in the best way possible. And you really want to work hard to make your whole practice a super producer. So get everyone to be looking at how can they be generating their own revenue streams. So for example, techs. If you're unable to find a veterinarian, but you're able to find techs, then get as many of them on board and have them do tech appointments, all the things that you don't need to do as the DVM. And it's also critical that the owner and the veterinarians, all DVMs, that you're only doing the revenue generating pieces and the pieces that only you can do. The rest has to be handed over to the rest of your team. You've got to delegate, and it's really about leveraging your team in the leanest but yet most efficient and productive way. So again, you can't do it all, but make sure that what you are doing is, again, what is required of you as the DVM, and then make sure that you're leveraging your team in the best way possible. The other thing is to get your expenses under control. And the cost of goods is going up every single day. Different entities like IDEX and Antec, they are raising the prices on a regular basis. So it's incredibly important that you are managing your costs. So you've got to be looking at how to do that in terms of using online pharmacies. So nowadays, people should absolutely not have months and months worth of stock. You should be managing your COGS in a very organized, strategic way. Same thing with, for example, joining a buying group. As long as it's the right buying group, that is an immediate way to save money and to increase your profitability. And the other thing is to really kind of understand your expense ratios, and a lot of that does come down to your team, and to make sure that your team is all firing on all cylinders and that you've got the right people in the right positions, because often people just don't, and there are duplications of services, etc. So you've got to make sure that your team is being run efficiently as well. And there's lots of ways you can do that. You can have daily huddles in the morning to make sure that everyone is, again, it's a well-oiled machine. Everyone knows what they're doing, and there might be everyone might be cross-trained, but if everyone is too cross-trained, then no one is ultimately taking responsibility. So you want to make sure that everyone knows what their role is and what their accountabilities and their responsibilities are. So I would say that those would be definitely good places to start.
Well said, Melanie. We thank you for sharing your expertise with us today, and I look forward to hitting you up again next week for more actionable advice. We'd also like to extend an invite to our listeners to follow us on Facebook to keep this conversation going. That's it for today. We'll see you next Monday.